Isn't that fancy?
Are we on television?
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Whatever that means these days.
Are we on that thing called a podcast?
Yeah, it's the lines are so blurred. Bob, we don't know if it's podcast, streaming. I mean,
That's true.
Pat McAfee's over here with like the most popular show in the world, and it's on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense now because I was wondering why you guys were sitting so close. But had me a little upset there. Not upset, but just confused.
The guests are really enjoying being in the middle of us, I'll tell you that.
I can't.
Clearly.
Clearly. And it doesn't smell bad.
We got
Not
that going
yet.
for us.
So you got that going for
This is
you.
our first day.
Did you guys stop at that Old Spice setup? I mean,
Yeah.
what is that? There's only one thing being given away in here, and it's Old Spice.
Just don't
It's
check our
deodorant.
bags and see how much Old Spice
And you're
we
not
have
that
going.
old yet.
Old Spice and towels.
We're not cool enough for the sleep number stuff. That's too expensive. Well, we were really hoping that we're from Missouri, right? We're from Kansas City. That's where we kind of met and talked to you because Marty Schottenheimer so
Right.
influential to us. We were planning on the Chiefs joining us here in Los Angeles. It has not come to pass. They are
Right.
not here.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Does anybody know what they're doing?
I don't know. There was something.
I know what
there
they're
was like a
doing.
Pro Bowl going on or something.
Yeah,
Does that
I
count?
watched that. It was in slow motion. They shot it in slow motion. Or was that just the way they were playing?
Exactly.
The Pro Bowl's got like that. It's just you didn't want to hurt anybody. But yeah, I mean, I can see how the disappointment of the loss to Cincinnati and you think you got it going. I mean, you've got the most you got one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback, until Joe Burrow came along. But no, and he does
That easy.
and he does great commercials. I mean, he is something else. So I don't know. I thought Kansas City was going to take it, but I've been wrong before.
That's sports for you. So we're gonna go
I'm going to write that down. That's sports for
That's
you?
sports for you. That's
Okay.
the old cliche. So we're both huge Saved by the Bell fans. Just got to get that out of the way. The college years. We've had Peter Engel on our show talking about it.
No kidding.
Yeah, we love Peter. He's got to be. We've invited him up here. Even
Is he here?
He lives in Malibu.
Oh, okay.
You-
Peter, if you're listening.
You were Mike Rogers on the show. The the RA.
I was the RA, yeah.
It was I always thought that was an amazing season. What was it like kind of working with that great cast with Dustin, who we just unfortunately lost,
Passed away, yeah.
and Mario and Mark Paul and Tiffany, all them? What was it like working with those great?
First off, I was so surprised that I even got it. I had done a couple of shows. I'd done an episode of Coach. I had done an episode of a show called Good Advice with Shelley Long and Frank Williams, which only lasted. In fact, it got canceled after my episode. I don't think I had anything to do with that. But no, thank you. No, but so I started trying out for some things, and I was at one time I was auditioning for Saved by the Bell, College Years, and Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Wow.
And so I
would
was
like to see that.
Yeah, I know. In tights. I'm not bad. I've tried them on. Don't tell me.
Maybe we can
tell
get you
anybody.
here on Radio Row in Tights tomorrow.
Maybe. But, so I go in and do auditions with Mel Brooks and just going, oh, my God, it made you really nervous. And there was another guy named Eric Allen Kramer who was about my size, blonde, but me and him always showed up at the same auditions. And so he ended up getting Robin Hood Men in Tights. So if you go watch it and you see somebody in tights and he's really big and blonde, that's Eric. And I got Saved by the Bell. I think I got the better one.
I do.
Yes.
Because I wore tights under my pants and Saved by the Bell the college years. I got the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. And look, you brought it up, so you opened the door, so don't blame me. The episode of Coach that you talked about was really a moving one.
Yeah.
A former player of Coach Hayden Fox, Craig T. Nelson, took steroids and then had cancer. And you brought it out to him, and it comes out at the end of the episode that Hayden knew that you were taking the steroids and didn't do anything. And that really moved him and just kind of tore him down, that he knew and didn't do anything to help you out at that time. And just what was your memory of being on that show? Such an emotional, different episode.
Yeah.
It's a sitcom, it's a comedy, and here comes this really strong message about steroids, and then I got just the great Jerry Van Dyke. If you got to meet
Oh my
him.
God! Well, no, we had one. Yeah, I did, and he was there. And one of the scenes we had was in the cabin, and we're all sitting around that table having dinner, and then I don't know what happened. I was talking to Dauber and Bill Fagerbaki, and Jerry gets up and walks away, and then Craig T. Nelson gets up and walks away, and then you can hear yelling and screaming from, I don't know, I think it was over by the craft service table where they had all the food and stuff, and I'm thinking, knock it over. And I just remember the only thing I could really hear was, this isn't the Jerry Van Dyke show. And then I heard, this isn't the Craig T. Nelson show either. And so I'm sitting there and I go, should we just like go? And he goes, no, they do this all the time.
Like
So they sat there, they came back, sat down, and we did the same. It was incredible, but never expected. I didn't know how it was going to end, how it was going to be so emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, they just, and you're like you said, she said, you know, if you're not their father, but if you knew he was doing it, you would have said something. And he pauses and then says, that's just Christine, I did know. Yeah. And it goes to black. There's no clapping. There's no music, no nothing. And we ended up winning some awards for anti-drug stuff. Yeah. And we actually went to a dinner, and we won, and they called us, and Craig T. Nelson went up by himself and didn't invite the rest of it. So I'm a little bitter about that.
He wanted it to be called the Craig T. Nelson Show. He went up for an award.
He went for an award and didn't bring us. I'm the guy that died.
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't have had it. Wouldn't have been that good if I hadn't have been, the one that died.
I just have to say that was a really moving, great performance by you. So
the bigger they are.
Yes.
What was the name of that episode?
Yeah. That show, it's kind of burned in my memory, and as is every Thanksgiving, I have to watch the Thanksgiving episode.
That's burned in my memory too.
Because Marv Albert's in there.
Yep.
You got Jonathan Brandis who came in. Mr. Belding came back. You had all the guys like Brian Austin Green, I think, was in there. I mean,
he was dating Tiffany at the time.
Oh, that's how. Wow. Lucky guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
they broke up though. I think she's married and has a kid.
She is. Yes.
Yes, okay. You've been stalking her.
Stalking's a strong word. I
wish
the courts would stop using that.
Well, that was awesome. That was a great episode.
But the thing is, I don't know why they put me in a wheelchair.
Your back, you'd like thrown your back out somehow.
We were going to move the pool table, and I told Screech on the other side. I said, "We're going on 3."
I said, "Move."
Yeah. And so I heard my back. I mean, I don't know what it meant. I mean, I don't know what it did for the episode to put me in a wheelchair, but probably because then Screech had to go and do anything, and he was supposed to get the turkeys, and he got frozen turkeys the morning of the event, where we have all the kids coming in, and he ends up opening up the thing, and he says, "We have turkey jerky." Which by itself, the words turkey jerky make you laugh or roll your eyes. One of the two.
It's a tradition for my family now. Ever since
turkey jerky, yeah. Yes, I'm glad we've touched you.
I remember an episode where you're going to go back out. You're going to have a tryout for the 49ers. You're out on the football field, and Mark Hall and Mario are trying to help you, and you're throwing them around like rag dolls.
Yeah. Then they had a couple of things where they were all standing on the sled, and I had to hit it and push it. And I couldn't. I couldn't get it moving. It was like the ground was like damp, and the sun was in my eyes, and the grass was too long. And
what other excuses?
Yeah, exactly. So I finally got it going, and we shot that. There was one where they all jumped on my back, and I had to carry them for a while. And then they had this one scene where I had to run up and down the stairs in the stadium, and I did it a couple of times. They go, "Okay, one more time." Okay, one more time. Okay. And I'm ready to puke. I mean, I'm just. And can you write this into the scene? But it was like 60 degrees when we got there in the morning, and the sun was just coming up. And by the middle of the afternoon, when we were shooting this stuff, it was like 105, and it was absolutely brutal. But evidently, I didn't go back.
Yeah,
it was too important to
life
me.
imitating art. You were not literally going to go back.
Yes.
either. And you played for Marty Schottenheimer. You were part of our film for Marty, and we can't thank you enough for doing that. And we were able to meet Marty in 2018.
Literally my honor.
Oh, and that's what you said
Yeah.
back then, and that's so meaningful. But you played for him for 7 years, and you played for him in Cleveland. So close to the Super Bowl so many times, and as Marty seemed to be almost snake bitten in the postseason.
Yeah.
But then you go play for the LA Raiders and you play against Marty, and no one hates the Raiders like Marty. What was it like playing for Marty and then playing against Marty, knowing that he circled the Raiders and the Chiefs dominated the Raiders around that
during the game I flipped him off a couple of times because I knew he'd understand. I mean, he hated the Raiders, and it's like, hey, this is what you respect. You expect this from the Raiders, right? So, and he laughs, and we'd all, pat each other in the back. And no, I didn't even think about it at the time. I just, when you leave one team, and it's not your choice, maybe you're not angry, maybe you're not, maybe on the surface you're not angry or upset or angry at them for doing that. But when you come across them again, you want to basically show them that they made a mistake. They made a big mistake, and they shouldn't have done that. So I think I did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I flipped off Marty.
And then the Chiefs won like 12 straight.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be a Hall of Fame ceremony announcing new finalists. Do you think Marty Schottenheimer should be in the Hall of Fame? He didn't win the Super Bowl. Everyone, he longed for it. But like I said, there's the drive, the fumble. Lynn Elliott here in Kansas City, he was with the Chargers. Marlon McCree picks up a pass, fumbles it back to the Patriots, and they win.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for bad luck, you'd have no luck at all.
Yeah.
But he resurrected all these teams, the Browns, the Chiefs. It was going to happen in Washington if they didn't get rid of him.
Yeah.
And then in San Diego.
Well, and I don't want to say unfortunately, but it does come down to championships and playoff wins. And I think he's like 5-13.
Yeah.
And so it's not good compared to a lot of the other ones. But I mean, you got to look at the type of player he was too. You can't just, or a coach he was.
Yeah.
I mean, not just say, okay, what numbers? Because there was he did stuff out there. He made decisions. He made adjustments, and so to look at somebody and say, well, look at all the playoffs he was in, look at all the Super Bowls he won. That seems to be the thing that carries the most weight. So, which basically means he's not going to get in posthumously, but I would still love to see it. I think, I hate to say it before Marty, but I'd love to see Clay Matthews get in.
Yeah.
Clay was our outside backer. The guy played 18 years. I think it was 16 with us, and then like a couple more with. I think went down to Atlanta.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, for him not to be in there it's a crime.
Yeah,
Bruce played 20 years. Yeah.
Bruce played 20 years.
Right around it.
Probably at each position too.
Exactly.
I mean, he would play center, and I'd have to play against him. And then he'd play guard, and he'd be like trap blocking me. And then he'd go out and play tackle, and I'd be coming around the outside pass rush, and he'd hold me like a cheating son of that. Let it go, Bob. Let it go, Bob. Let it go.
We
We
haven't been banned from any social media platforms yet, which is rare these days. Cancel culture has not found its way to Starcade Media.
Yeah, I love to hear that. So next time, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll say the word. Maybe I'll say the whole word. I think sometimes it carries more power.
You pick your moments, right? That's when you exactly. So I got to ask you about your alma mater, Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yep.
Proud history, proud tradition, national titles, Era Parsegian, Newt Rockney, you, Joe Theismann, good friend of ours.
Wait,
right?
Newt Rockney, Era Parsegian, you, Joe Theismann. Well, I know, but
Terry
I mean,
Hanratty, Jack Snow, Leon Hart.
Okay.
But Brian Kelly.
Kevin Hart.
Rudy. Kevin Hart.
Rudy.
But Brian Kelly bolts to LSU.
Yeah.
Now what?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it comes down to this. Now there's, what is it, like a transfer portal or something?
Oh, yeah.
It comes down to how the ones you've recruited how they think they're going to be treated, or how they think what's the possibility of them starting. Joe Burrow, for instance, sat in class with my son at Ohio State, and he was like the fourth string quarterback, and opted out and went down, and look at him now. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's going to come down to how the new coach relates to the players, and if they feel like the opportunity for them to participate, play, and maybe even be a star is still there for them.
Well, I feel like I have to ask about Daniel E. Rudiger, because I said that name, and it sounded like you were starting to say something. So what did you make of his story and then the film as well?
He took Joe Montana's spot on that day, right? Yep. His roster spot.
That's right. Yeah, Joe had a little bit of a rock thing going on. No, that was my freshman year. It was his senior year. It was the Rudy year. And I was like him, though. I mean, I was one of those people that said, my dad always said, oh, you play like you practice. Why I practice hard? And they'd say, what are you trying to go for, like practice All-American? And I was like, is it a thing? I should win that. That'd be cool. But then I found out that Rudy actually had a better chance. And he was just not, and he got in people's faces and said, it's up to me to make you better. And I remember the game. They were chanting Rudy. He ran out there, and
Georgia Tech, right?
Georgia Tech. Yep. And I was playing middle backer, and he was at I believe the left tackle or left end. And I dropped back to pass. Quarterback went back. Rudy came in from the side and started chasing him. The quarterback started chasing him, and I started coming up. And I guess Rudy dove and caught one of his feet and tripped him and put him down. And I remember getting there about the time that Rudy was on top, and I was like, "Oh my God, he's in!" And I'm thinking to myself, "This is like a movie." What was I thinking? I could have been famous.
That was my
made a movie. Yeah, get up. Hey, you pile jumper. No. No, Rudy's he's a great guy, and he speaks and he talks about how tough it is, and to keep fighting. Because we saw the movie, and I had no idea what his family life was and where he came from. That I only knew him as a player, but to see him do that day was just it made you excited, because it was something really good. I think we were beating them like 900 to nothing or something.
Yeah.
And but I mean, the fact that he went out there and he made the sack. I mean, not even just a play, but he goes out there and he sacks the quarterback. It was amazing. We were all so happy for the guy. And he says that, and he always says to me, "You were one of the first people to pick me up and carry me off the field."
Wow.
Because he said he's the only guy in Notre Dame history that was carried off the field.
Yeah. And I heard that the players, you guys didn't really know the gravity of that at the time. It was kind of like, oh, cool, Rudy, this is great. And Joe Montana said, I don't think these guys know that what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, no one's ever been carried off this field before.
Yeah, well, I was one time, but I was unconscious. I couldn't walk for myself.
Well,
it wasn't a concussion. It was just I just got my bell rung.
Oh my gosh! Before we cut you loose, we've been doing some interviews here, and we get all these great stories, and and then at the end we're like, oh yeah, well, who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah,
Sunday?
the Super Bowl.
It's like an after. It seems to be sort of an afterthought. I thought maybe that's just because we're from Kansas City and we're still pouting.
Probably.
But who wins?
Oh, there's no doubt. Before you turn the camera on, you were pouting.
Well, I guess who wins the game and by how much and all that stuff.
You know who's not going to win? Kansas City.
Well, I thought we'd established something.
Oh, man. No, I'm sorry.
You see us flipping you off from over there, and you'll know why.
I'll feel it. I have a sense. I don't know. At first I started thinking Cincinnati, since I'm an Ohio guy. Then I realized that over all the years I played in Cleveland, Cincinnati, those guys hurt me, and they tried to beat me up every time we played them twice a year. So I started thinking, why should I cheer for a team that hated me? And plus, Sam Weiss Remember? I don't know if
I
you
do.
guys remember.
Oh, yeah. We were
He-
just talking about him.
They were throwing stuff on the field down in Cincinnati, and Sam grabbed the mic and said, "Stop throwing things. Remember, you don't live in Cleveland." And we're like, "You son of a bitch."
Exactly. So, so
I
Ray,
said it that
He went
time.
there.
Yeah, I went there.
and you played in Los Angeles here for 4 years.
Yeah.
So
4
you're
years.
rolling with the Rams, Matt Stafford and the Rams.
Yep.
Kind of.
I think, I've seen those guys. I mean, looking at the teams, we were talking about this. The Rams defense is just really something.
Yeah.
The fact that Burrow, I don't know what they can do to protect Burrow because he got sacked 9 times.
Yeah.
Last game. It's
Titans.
against the Titans. Yeah, absolutely incredible. And I was telling somebody else, I don't know. I think he still thinks he's invincible because if you watched him run with the ball, he doesn't slide. He puts his shoulder down, and that's not going to do nothing. I mean, it's going to look cool at the time if he doesn't get hurt, and like he's a badass, and he's willing to do anything to get the win, but he's going to end up on the bench, getting. Continues to take the beating like that, and the Rams are certainly a team that could do that with their defense.
Yeah, we saw his rookie year. He got his knee torn up because of something like that.
Yeah.
So that's something he's got to watch out for. I don't know how close you are with the Raiders organization, how much you get back there. A good friend of ours on this show who knew a show in Kansas City, Chiefs fans, Chiefs media would be our favorite guest, our best guest that we've had on outside of you, of course, Bob, is George Atkinson. We're so close with him. How well do you know George? He's a great friend. We've been doing this 11 years now. He's been on from the very beginning. Comes on every year. Great friend, great person. How much do you know George?
I don't know at all.
Okay.
No, no. He is a really good guy. And so he's in Kansas City.
He's in Vegas.
He's in Vegas.
Yeah, he's Vegas. He's still working with the team.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It is they send me a Christmas card. In fact, it's usually the first. This is serious. It may sound funny, but seriously, it was like the first Christmas card I got this year. They also sent me a rock, and it was a big piece of granite.
You heard about that?
With the logo on it and Bob Golic, and I guess all the players, anybody who ever played, ours was like the second piece, and they put it down somewhere so people could walk
around the stadium. Around Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah. So, it was, and I've been back to some of the reunions, which is so cool to see some of the guys again and, and see who looks crappy and
not this
who
one.
does it. Well, thank you very much. Black is very slimming.
We will give you that.
Okay, thank you.
And Bob,
I'll take my jacket off. You'll see. Oh, wait, I'm wearing black again.
Hey, you did seduce that psychology professor in Saved by the Bell. You probably still could get to do that.
Yeah, I wanted a piece of that.
Fred?
I wanted a piece of that.
Well, Bob,
Emily Dickinson.
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool because at the end, Zach seeing smoke coming out, and he's knocking on my door, and I open and my shirt's like misbuttoned, and my collar's up, and all of a sudden her head comes in.
Is the fire out?
Yeah, not yet. God, how do you remember the script?
Yeah, well, you do clearly. It's.
Yeah, and then she kissed me.
We won't. We were going to recreate a few of these lines. We won't recreate that one, but this has been our good friend Bob Golic here at Radio Row live in
We
Los
just want
Angeles.
to tell you what an honor it
This
was.
is an honor,
Okay.
Yes, and for you to be in our film, One Play at a Time, a film for Marty.
and how much he appreciated it. to
Him and
see
Pat told us if you guys reach back out to the players and talk to these players, these guys that were in the film, and you were generously one of them, just how much it meant and how much it moved him and how much he loved you guys. And just how
We knew it.
he said, this didn't make my day, this didn't make my week, my month, this made my year, this film, seeing this,
He said
seeing
that.
my players, it touched his heart each time.
We knew how he felt about us, and hopefully he knew how we felt about him. Yeah, he
Definitely did.
Like we said before, he was an emotional guy. He was committed to it. He wanted to win. I mean, hell, he'd put a uniform back on and go out there if he could have.
Sure.
But yeah, it was an honor being, and I appreciate you guys including me, because anytime I get a chance to say something like that about Marty, I loved it, and it was so sad to. Somebody said it was like a year ago, right?
On February 7th.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, like you said in the film, he was the perfect coach at the perfect time. That goes for you and for us as fans growing up in Kansas City, because he resurrected. He's part of our childhood. That's we grew up with Derek Thomas and all those wonderful defenses, wonderful teams, and got so close. And that was like our indoctrination of football.
Probably why we're doing this today. That's what we told him. If not for you, if we kept losing football in Kansas City, you brought winning football back to Kansas City. We had some lean years there in the 80s. And if not for him, maybe we're not here today. So we have to thank him for that.
Well, and the thing is too that when I was with the Browns, we played obviously a divisional rival. I played against Mike Webster, the best center ever to play the game. 7 seasons, 14 times. In fact, at one point, I actually sent him flowers. I said at the time, we played more games than I've been married. Years that I've been married. So you're kind of like my girl. And I didn't say that, but I sent him the flowers.
So maybe he should have been sending you flowers.
You may be. So I ended up leaving, and at one point I go to the Raiders, and I'm thinking, well, the good news is I don't have to play Mike again. I haven't beat the crap out of me. And he shows up in Kansas City.
What are you doing here?
I'm looking at this guy in a red jersey and going, you look just like some guy that used to kick my ass.
It's like there's no divorce papers. This marriage is still going on.
We're still going on. Oh, he was just brutal. He was the best. And a great guy. Drove me into the ground one time in Cleveland. Came up. I had grass and mud stuck in my mask. And he goes, and I feel his hand help me up. And he goes, Bob, you're getting better and better every time I play against you.
Wow.
And I wanted to kick his ass. I mean, I should have pulled away and said, damn it, you bring it next time. But instead, I think, why should I anger the guy? I mean, why make him angrier? So I said, I appreciate it, Mike. Thank you very much.
Man, that kind of ruins it for me. I always thought of that era as just Iron Men playing a gladiator sport.
I was just kidding.
Hatred and blood and tears. Yeah. And I feel like nowadays they trade jerseys and take the picture. So now it's kind of ruining that era for me. So
do we have a second to? And I'll tell you another story real quick.
Absolutely.
Boomer Esiason. There was the one game where I landed on him and he made a squeaky noise, which you're not allowed to do anymore. What, you land with your
squeaky noise? Or?
No, you make the squeaky noise. But you can't land full weight on the quarterback, which is just stupid because it's too much fun. But anyway, they one point in the game, we're down Cincinnati. They snap the ball, fumbles, and we're all diving on top. And he goes, and they get the ball back, and he goes, Pop. And we're all unpiling. He goes, hey, I got a guy in Cleveland that's opening up a cowboy boot shop. Yeah, it was like urban cowboy time or something.
Yeah.
So that's how far back it was. But so anyway, he goes. The guy wanted to get some autographed picture to put on the wall. He'd give you a free pair of boots. I said, oh sure. And so he sent me. We're walking back to the huddle and we're talking, and people are like, "What were you telling him? Were you telling me you're going to rip his head off?" I said, no, he was giving me the address and the phone number for the guy that was giving me free boots. So anyway, 4 weeks later, they come up to Cleveland, snap again, run up the middle, the ball goes down and fumbles, and he jumps on top. I jump on him. Everybody else jumps on us. He's got the ball, and I'm got my hand on the ball, and I'm going, give it to me, Boomer. Give it to me. Give it to me, Boomer. And he looks up and he goes, Bob, hey, did you get a hold of that guy about those boots? I mean, literally, we were still in a pile.
That is wow.
And other guys are going, hey, Boom, can I get some boots? And other guys are going, please stop standing on my crotch.
And I'm picturing people gouging eyes, cussing.
No, that was happening too.
And really, it's just
about that. It's about the free boots.
Yeah, yeah. It said, hey, did that guy get a hold of you about the boots? And I said, yeah, we've been playing phone tag, and you got some of these young guys going, what the hell is going on?
Bob, this has been such a pleasure. Thanks so much for stopping in. Enjoy the rest of the Super Bowl weekend. I guess the Super Bowl itself, I guess it'll take place on Sunday. That's what I'm being told. So enjoy it.
I know I saw that somewhere too.
It's been
Thank
a
you so
pleasure,
much,
guys.
man.
Mostly, it's been an honor.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.